Welcome back to Soft Light Theory, a channel where science meets softness and healing begins in the quiet moments. Tonight, you return to a space designed for rest, reflection, and renewal. This is not just a video, it's a gentle unfolding, a place where neuroscience becomes poetry, and your breath becomes the bridge between knowledge and peace. In our previous episode, Why Self-Compassion Heals Anxiety, you learned that anxiety is not a flaw, it's a signal. We explored how your breath calms the nervous system, how oxytocin wraps around your heart like a warm blanket, and how self-kindness rewires the inner critic into a voice of quiet support. You discovered that healing begins not with fixing, but with listening, and that your brain is a garden, ready to grow new pathways with every gentle thought. In this episode, Accepting Emotions. Instead of fighting them, we'll answer a question many carry in silence. How do I stop being overwhelmed by my emotions? The solution isn't suppression, it's acceptance, not as surrender, but as strength. You'll learn how emotions are waves, not walls, how your body responds to them, and how mindfulness helps you ride them without drowning. We'll explore the science of emotional regulation, the role of self-compassion in soothing inner storms, and gentle practices that help you feel without fear. So lie back, let your breath slow, let your thoughts soften, and let this journey continue. Chapter 1. The Gentle Invitation. Emotions are not enemies. The summary of this chapter. You begin by meeting your emotions as guests, not intruders to be silenced. Each feeling carries a message, and tonight, you learn to listen without fear, without resistance. You lie down. The day begins to dissolve. The light fades, and in its place, a quiet space opens. A space where you can finally feel. Your breath slows, your body softens, and in this stillness, something stirs inside you. Not thought, not memory, emotion. It rises gently, like mist from a lake at dawn. Not to overwhelm you, but to be seen. You've spent years trying to manage your emotions, to suppress, to distract, to push away. But tonight, you are invited to do something different, to meet them, to listen. Emotions are not enemies. They are messengers. They arrive with stories, with signals, with truths your body already knows. Fear tightens your chest to prepare you for protection. Sadness slows your breath to help you grieve and reflect. Joy lifts your posture to invite connection. Anger heats your skin to defend what matters. Each feeling is a language, and your body is fluent, even when your mind resists. You were never meant to fight your emotions. You were meant to feel them, to learn from them, to let them pass through like weather across the sky. But somewhere along the way, you were taught to fear them, to label them as weakness, to hide them behind smiles, behind silence, behind busyness. This fear creates tension. It builds walls inside you, and the emotions, unable to move freely, begin to echo louder. You feel the pressure in your chest, the restlessness in your thoughts, the ache in your shoulders. These are not random. They are signals that something is asking to be felt. Tonight, you begin to listen, not with judgment, but with curiosity. You imagine your emotions as guests at your door. Some arrive quietly, others knock loudly. Some stay for moments, others linger. You do not need to entertain them. You do not need to fix them. You only need to greet them, to say, I see you. You are welcome here. This act of welcoming emotion is radical. It changes your relationship with yourself. Your nervous system responds. When you stop resisting, your body begins to relax. Your breath deepens, your heart rate slows, your muscles soften. This is not surrender, it is alignment. You are no longer at war with your own experience. You begin to notice patterns, how certain emotions rise in specific places, your throat, your stomach, your jaw. You begin to notice timing, how emotions visit when you are tired, when you are triggered, when you are alone. This noticing is not analysis, it is presence. It is the beginning of understanding. You may feel sadness tonight, or anxiety, or a quiet joy that surprises you. Whatever comes, you are ready to meet it. You imagine placing a hand on your heart. You feel the warmth of your palm, the rhythm beneath it. You say silently, "I'm here. I'm listening." This gesture is simple, but it speaks volumes to your nervous system. It says, you are safe. You are allowed to feel. You are not alone. And in that safety, emotion begins to move. Not in chaos, but in rhythm. You feel the wave rise. You breathe through it. You feel it crest. You let it fall. This is emotional regulation. Not control, not suppression, but flow. You are learning to surf instead of sink. You begin to trust that emotions are temporary, that they come and go like tides. You begin to trust that you can feel deeply without being consumed. This trust is healing. It rewires your brain. It reshapes your habits. It opens space for peace. Tonight, you do not need to solve anything. You do not need to change. You only need to feel. And in that feeling, you begin to soften. You begin to remember that your emotions are part of you, not problems, but companions. You begin to see that every feeling is a doorway to deeper understanding. And as you rest in this truth, you may begin to wonder, how does your body create these feelings? What is the science behind the sensations you carry? Next, you'll step into the biology of emotion and learn how your brain and body work together to help you feel, heal, and grow. Chapter 2. The Biology of Feeling, How Emotions Move Through You. The summary of this chapter. Your emotions are not just thoughts. They are waves of chemistry and sensation. You'll explore how your brain and body create and respond to feelings, and how awareness begins the healing. You lie still. The room is quiet, and inside you, a subtle current begins to stir. It's not a thought, not a memory. It's a feeling, rising from somewhere deeper than words. You may call it warmth, or tightness, or a flutter in your chest. But beneath the sensation is a cascade of biology. Emotions are not abstract. They are physical. They begin in the body long before the mind gives them a name. Your brain is the conductor. It receives signals, interprets them, and sends instructions to every part of you. When something meaningful happens, a sound, a glance, a thought, your brain responds instantly. It activates networks that shape your emotional experience. One of the key players is the limbic system, a cluster of structures deep within your brain. It includes the amygdala, which scans for danger, and the hippocampus, which stores emotional memory. The amygdala is fast. It reacts before you can think. It sends signals to your hypothalamus, which activates your autonomic nervous system, the part of you that controls heart rate, breath, digestion. This is why emotions feel so physical. Your heart races, your stomach tightens, your breath shortens, your muscles brace. These changes are not random. They are your body's way of preparing you to respond. If the emotion is fear, your body prepares to flee. If it's anger, you're ready to defend. If it's joy, your body opens, inviting connection. Each emotion has a signature, a pattern of chemistry and sensation that moves through you like a wave. Hormones join the dance. Cortisol rises in stress. Oxytocin flows in connection. Adrenaline surges in urgency. These chemicals shape your experience from the inside out. You are not imagining your emotions. You are living them in every cell. And yet, you often try to think your way out of feeling. You analyze, rationalize, distract. But the body does not forget. It holds the emotion until it is felt. This is why awareness matters. When you notice a feeling without judgment, you allow it to move. You become the observer, not the reactor. You create space between stimulus and response. This space is healing. It allows your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that regulates emotion, to step in. It says, let's pause, let's breathe, let's choose. And in that pause, the wave begins to settle. You may feel the tension release, the breath deepen, the heart slow. This is regulation, not suppression, not avoidance, but flow. You are not trying to stop the wave. You are learning to ride it. Your body is designed for this. It knows how to return to balance when given the chance. But it needs your help. It needs your attention, your breath, your kindness. You begin to notice where emotions live in you. Sadness in your throat, anxiety in your belly, joy in your chest. These sensations are maps. They guide you to what needs care. You place a hand on the area. You breathe into it. You say silently, I'm here. This gesture is simple, but it speaks to your nervous system. It says, you are safe. You are allowed to feel. And in that safety, the emotion begins to move. You may feel tears rise, or laughter, or a quiet sigh. These are signs that the wave is passing. You are not broken. You are responding. Your body is wise. It knows what to do when you stop fighting it. Tonight, you learn to trust that wisdom. You learn that emotions are not problems to solve, but signals to honor. You learn that feeling is not weakness, but strength. And as you rest in this truth, you may begin to wonder, why do you resist certain emotions? What makes some feelings harder to hold than others? Next, you'll explore the fight response and how resistance creates tension that compassion can gently dissolve. Chapter 3. The Fight Response. Why you resist what you feel. The summary of this chapter. You've been taught to push emotions away, to armor yourself against discomfort. But resistance creates tension. And tonight, you'll learn how the fight response can be softened with compassion. You lie in the quiet, and something inside you tightens, not sharply, but subtly. A clench in the jaw, a bracing in the chest, a readiness to hold back. This is not fear, not yet. It is resistance, the instinct to push away what you do not want to feel. You've learned this response through years of survival. When emotions rise, especially the difficult ones, your body prepares to fight them. Not with fists, but with tension, with control, with the silent command, don't feel that. This is the fight response, one branch of your nervous system's defense. It's not always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, a tightening, a holding, a refusal. Your sympathetic nervous system activates in milliseconds. It floods your body with adrenaline, raises your heart rate, sharpens your focus. It prepares you to act, to protect, to survive. But when the threat is an emotion, the fight becomes internal. You resist sadness because it feels heavy. You resist anger because it feels dangerous. You resist vulnerability because it feels exposed. And in that resistance, your body begins to armor itself. Muscles tense. Breath shortens. Thoughts race. You may not even notice it. It becomes habit, a default setting, a way of being. But resistance has a cost. It traps emotion in the body. It creates chronic tension. It keeps the nervous system in a state of alert. You feel tired, but wired. You feel numb, but restless. You feel disconnected from yourself. This is not failure. It is protection. Your body is trying to help you in the only way it knows. But tonight, you begin to offer it a new way. You begin with breath. Slow, gentle, intentional. You inhale deeply and feel your ribs expand. You exhale slowly and feel your shoulders drop. This breath is not just air. It is a signal. It tells your nervous system, there is no danger here. You place a hand on your chest. You feel the warmth of your palm, the rhythm beneath it. You say silently, "It's okay to feel." This phrase is simple, but powerful. It begins to soften the armor. You may feel resistance rise again. That's expected. It's a pattern, not a flaw. You do not fight the resistance. You notice it. You breathe with it. You say, "I see you. You're trying to protect me." This is compassion, not as a concept, but as a practice. You begin to understand that emotions are not threats. They are signals. They are energy moving through the body. And when you stop resisting, they begin to move. You feel the sadness as a weight in your chest. You breathe into it. You let it be. You feel the anger as heat in your belly. You acknowledge it. You do not act on it. You let it rise and fall. This is emotional regulation, not control, not suppression, but presence. You are learning to stay with what you feel without needing to fix it. Your brain begins to rewire. The prefrontal cortex strengthens its connection to the limbic system. You gain more choice, more clarity, more calm. This is neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change through experience. Each time you meet emotion with compassion, you reshape your response. You become less reactive, more resilient, more able to feel without fear. You begin to trust that you can hold discomfort without being consumed. This trust is healing. It allows you to soften without collapsing. You may notice that your body feels lighter, your breath deeper, your thoughts slower. This is the release that comes from letting go of the fight. You are not giving up. You are opening. You are not weak. You are wise. Tonight, you learn that resistance is not the only way. You learn that compassion can be stronger than control. And as you rest in this truth, you may begin to wonder, what happens when you stop resisting sadness? What wisdom does it carry when you allow it to speak? Next, you'll meet sadness not as a burden, but as a guide, a quiet signal that something within you is ready to be seen. Chapter 4. The Wisdom of Sadness, a Signal, Not a Symptom. The summary of this chapter. Sadness is not a flaw. It is a signal of change, of need, of care. It slows you down so you can listen, softens you so you can feel. Tonight, you'll learn how sadness speaks through the body and how holding it gently can lead to deeper understanding. Sadness arrives quietly. It does not demand. It does not shout. It settles in like dusk, soft, slow, a dimming of light that invites you inward. You feel it in your chest, a weight that doesn't hurt, but presses. You feel it in your limbs, a heaviness that asks you to pause. You feel it in your breath, slower now, as if your body knows it's time to listen. Sadness is not a flaw. It is a signal, a message from within that something matters, that something has shifted, that something needs care. You've been taught to fear sadness, to hide it, to fix it, to distract yourself from it. But sadness is not brokenness. It is awareness. It is the body's way of asking for gentleness. Biologically, sadness slows you down. It reduces energy, lowers motivation, pulls you inward. This is not dysfunction. It is design. Your brain, in moments of sadness, activates regions linked to reflection. The medial prefrontal cortex lights up, the part of you that thinks about self, about meaning, about memory. Sadness invites integration. It helps you process loss, change, disappointment. It helps you make sense of what no longer fits. You may feel tears rise. This is not weakness. Tears contain stress hormones. They help release tension. They signal to others that you need comfort, even when words fail. Your parasympathetic nervous system responds to sadness by slowing the body. Heart rate drops, muscles relax. You become still, not because you've given up, but because you're listening. Sadness is a pause, a sacred one. It creates space for healing to begin. You may notice that sadness feels different from anxiety or anger. It doesn't push, it pulls. It doesn't spike, it settles. This settling can feel unfamiliar, even uncomfortable. But it is not dangerous. You are not drowning. You are descending into depth. And in that depth, you find clarity. You begin to ask questions you couldn't ask before. What have I lost? What do I need? What matters most? Sadness clears the noise. It strips away distraction. It brings you closer to truth. You may feel the urge to rush through it, to cheer up, to move on. But sadness has its own pace. And when you honor it, it moves more freely. You place a hand on your heart. You breathe slowly. You say silently, "It's okay to feel this." This phrase is a balm. It tells your nervous system that sadness is safe. You begin to notice how your body responds. The chest softens, the throat loosens, the eyes grow heavy. This is the body trusting the emotion. You are not resisting, you are receiving. And in that receiving, you begin to heal. Sadness often carries memory. It brings back moments you thought you'd forgotten. A voice, a place, a goodbye. These memories are not here to haunt you. They are here to be held. You do not need to fix them. You do not need to relive them. You only need to witness. Sadness is a bridge between past and present. It helps you honor what was and accept what is. You may feel grief, not just for people, but for versions of yourself you've outgrown. This grief is sacred. It means you are evolving. You are not stuck. You are shedding. Sadness also deepens empathy. When you allow yourself to feel, you become more able to feel with others. You begin to understand that everyone carries weight, that everyone needs softness. This understanding connects you. It makes you kinder, more patient, more present. Sadness is not isolation. It is invitation. Tonight, you let it in. You let it speak in its own language, through breath, through tears, through silence. And as it speaks, you listen. You begin to trust that sadness is not the end. It is a passage, a slowing before the next step, a softening before the next strength. You are not broken. You are feeling, and feeling is how you heal. As you lie here, let sadness settle. Let it wrap around you like a quiet blanket. Let it remind you that you are alive, that you care, that you are growing. And as the night deepens, you may begin to wonder, if sadness pulls you inward, what does anger do when it rises like fire? Next, you'll meet anger not as danger, but as protection, a force that defends what matters and asks to be felt without fear. Chapter 5. The Heat of Anger, Protecting What Matters. The summary of this chapter. Anger is not destruction. It is protection. A fire that rises when boundaries are crossed. It speaks in heat, in tension, in urgency. Tonight, you'll explore how to feel anger safely, without shame, without harm. Anger arrives differently, not like sadness, which settles, not like anxiety, which flutters. Anger rises, quick, hot, a flame that flickers behind your ribs. You feel it before you name it. A tightening in your jaw, a flush in your cheeks, a surge in your chest that says, something's not right. This is not wrong. This is not dangerous. This is your body protecting you. Anger is a boundary emotion. It appears when something you value is threatened, dismissed, disrespected. It is your nervous system saying, no, no more, not this. You've been taught to fear anger, to suppress it, to hide it, to label it as bad. But anger is not destruction. It is protection. It is the body's way of defending what matters. Biologically, anger activates the sympathetic nervous system. Your heart rate increases, your muscles prepare to act, your brain sharpens its focus on the source of the threat. The amygdala lights up, scanning for danger. The hypothalamus sends signals to release adrenaline. You are ready, not to harm, but to hold your ground. This readiness is ancient. It helped your ancestors survive. It helped them protect their children, their homes, their dignity. But in modern life, anger often has no clear outlet. You feel it rise, but you don't know where to place it. So it turns inward. It becomes tension, resentment, self-criticism, or it spills outward in ways that feel unsafe. Sharp words, closed fists, withdrawn silence. This is not failure, it is misdirection. Anger needs a path, not to explode, but to express. Tonight, you learn to feel anger without fear. You begin with breath, not to extinguish the flame, but to contain it. You inhale slowly, letting the heat rise. You exhale gently, giving it space to soften. You place a hand on your belly. You feel the tension there. You say silently, I'm listening. This phrase is powerful. It tells your body that anger is welcome. You begin to ask questions. What boundary was crossed? What value was dismissed? What part of me feels unsafe? These questions turn anger into insight. You are not reacting. You are reflecting. And in that reflection, anger begins to shift. You feel the heat, but it no longer burns. It warms. It clarifies. It guides. You begin to understand that anger is not the enemy. It is the guardian. It protects your time, your energy, your worth. You may feel anger towards someone you love. This is not betrayal, it is honesty. You may feel anger toward yourself. This is not punishment, it is unmet need. You begin to hold anger with compassion. You say, I see you. You're trying to protect me. And in that seeing, anger softens. You may cry. You may sigh. You may feel the tension melt from your shoulders. This is release, not of the emotion, but of the resistance. You are not suppressing. You are allowing. You begin to notice how anger lives in your body, in your fists, your throat, your spine. You breathe into those places. You offer warmth. You say, you don't have to fight anymore. This is regulation, not control, not denial, but care. Your brain responds. The prefrontal cortex re-engages. You gain clarity. You gain choice. You begin to speak with honesty and calm. You say, I felt hurt. I need space. I deserve respect. These words are not weak. They are strong in their softness. You begin to set boundaries, not from rage, but from self-respect. You begin to forgive, not from obligation, but from understanding. You begin to live with integrity. Anger, when held gently, becomes fuel. It energizes change. It clarifies values. It deepens courage. You are not broken for feeling it. You are brave for honoring it. Tonight, you let anger rise. You let it speak. You let it soften. You feel the warmth in your chest. You feel the steadiness in your breath. You are safe to feel this. And as the flame settles, You may begin to wonder, if anger protects, what does anxiety prepare you for? Next, you'll step into the fog of anxiety and learn how your body braces for what might never come, and how breath and presence can clear the sky. Chapter 6. The Fog of Anxiety, Preparing for What Might Never Come. The summary of this chapter. Anxiety is your body's way of preparing, even when there's nothing to prepare for. It tightens, it braces, it scans the horizon. You'll learn how to meet anxiety with breath, how to calm the storm without needing to control the sky. Anxiety doesn't knock. It drifts in like fog, quiet, creeping, settling over your thoughts before you even notice. You feel it in your chest, a tightness that doesn't explain itself. You feel it in your breath, shortened, shallow, as if your body is bracing for something unseen. This is not weakness. This is preparation. Your body is trying to protect you from what might come. Anxiety is the nervous system's way of scanning the horizon. It looks ahead, searches for threat, tries to stay one step ahead of danger. The amygdala, your brain's alarm bell, becomes hyperactive. It sends signals to your hypothalamus, which triggers the stress response. Adrenaline rises, cortisol flows, your heart races, your muscles tense. You are ready, but for what? Often, there is no clear danger, no lion in the grass, no fire to flee, just a thought, a possibility, a what if, and yet your body prepares as if the threat is real. This is the fog of anxiety. It blurs the line between imagination and reality. You begin to overthink. You loop through scenarios. You try to solve problems that haven't happened. This is not irrational. It is your brain trying to help, trying to stay safe, trying to stay ahead. But the cost is high. You feel exhausted, but restless. You feel alert, but unfocused. Your body stays in a state of readiness long after the moment has passed. This is chronic anxiety, a storm that never breaks, a sky that never clears. Tonight, you begin to meet it differently, not with control, not with avoidance, but with breath. You inhale slowly, letting the air fill your belly. You exhale gently, letting the tension melt. This breath is not just calming, it is communication. It tells your nervous system, there is no danger now. You place a hand on your chest. You feel the rhythm beneath it. You say silently, I am safe in this moment. This phrase is grounding. It brings you back from the imagined future into the present. You begin to notice the sensations of anxiety, the flutter in your stomach, the tightness in your throat, the buzzing in your limbs. You do not resist them. You name them. You breathe with them. This is mindfulness, not detachment, but presence. You are not trying to escape the fog. You are learning to walk through it with clarity. Your brain begins to shift. The prefrontal cortex re-engages. You gain perspective. You gain choice. You begin to ask, what is this anxiety trying to protect? What does it need from me? Often, the answer is reassurance, a reminder that you are capable, that you are supported, that you are allowed to rest. You offer that reassurance through gentle rituals, a warm drink, a quiet walk, a note to yourself that says, you've survived this before. These rituals are not distractions, they are anchors. They help your body remember what calm feels like. You begin to notice patterns when anxiety rises, what triggers it, how it speaks. You begin to respond with compassion. You say, I see you. You're trying to help, but I'm okay right now. This response softens the fog. You may still feel the tension, but it no longer controls you. You begin to trust that anxiety is a signal, not a sentence. It tells you that something matters, that something feels uncertain, that something needs care. You offer that care through breath, through presence, through kindness. You are not broken for feeling anxious. You are beautifully responsive. Your body is trying to keep you safe. And tonight, you learn to thank it without letting it lead. You feel the fog begin to lift, not all at once, but slowly, like morning light through mist. You feel your breath deepen, your thoughts slow, your muscles soften. You are here. You are safe. You are enough. And as you rest in this truth, you may begin to wonder, if anxiety prepares you for the future, what helps you stay present when emotions rise? Next, you'll explore the role of self-compassion, how kindness becomes the container that holds your feelings without spilling. Chapter 7. The role of self-compassion, holding emotion without judgment. The summary of this chapter. Compassion is the container that holds your feelings without spilling. It steadies the breath when emotions rise, softens the edges of shame and fear, and reminds you that kindness is not earned. It is your birthright. You lie here, quiet now, your breath a gentle rhythm against the hush of night. Inside you, emotions stir, not loudly, but enough to be felt. A flicker of sadness, a trace of worry, a memory that still aches. You do not push them away. You do not judge them. Tonight, you hold them, not with force, but with compassion. Self-compassion is not indulgence. It is not weakness. It is the act of meeting yourself with the same kindness you would offer a friend. It begins with noticing. You feel the tension in your chest. You feel the heaviness in your limbs. You say, "This is hard." And in that naming, you begin to soften. Your brain listens. The moment you shift from judgment to care, your nervous system begins to settle. The amygdala, which scans for threat, quietly steps back. The prefrontal cortex, which helps you regulate emotion, steps forward. You are not suppressing the feeling. You are changing your relationship to it. This shift is powerful. It rewires your brain. It reshapes your habits. It creates space for healing. You may feel shame rise. That voice that says, "You should be stronger. You shouldn't feel this." You do not argue. You do not obey. You say, "I'm doing the best I can." And in that phrase, the shame begins to loosen. Self-compassion is the antidote to self-criticism. It does not erase the emotion. It holds it without adding pain. You begin to understand that your feelings are not flaws. They are signals. They are responses. They are human. You place a hand on your heart. You feel the warmth of your skin. You say silently, "I'm here for you." This gesture is simple, but profound. It activates the vagus nerve, which calms the body, slows the heart, deepens the breath. You are not alone. You are with yourself, and that presence is enough. You begin to notice how compassion changes the tone of your inner voice. It becomes softer, more patient, more curious. Instead of, "What's wrong with me?" you ask, "What do I need right now?" This question opens a door. You may need rest. You may need reassurance. You may need to cry. Whatever the answer, you listen. You respond with care. This is emotional regulation through kindness. It is not about control. It is about connection. You connect to your own experience without fear. You begin to trust that you can feel deeply and still be safe. This trust is the foundation of resilience. You are not avoiding discomfort. You are learning to stay with it without judgment. You begin to see that compassion is not passive. It is brave. It allows you to face pain without flinching. It allows you to speak kindly even when afraid. It allows you to forgive yourself for being human. Tonight, you practice this bravery. You breathe slowly. You notice what arises. You hold it gently. You say, "This belongs. This is part of me. This is okay." And in that holding, you begin to heal. Your brain changes. Your body relaxes. Your thoughts soften. You are not fixing yourself. You are befriending yourself. This friendship is your refuge. It is the place you return to when the world feels sharp. It is the voice you hear when the critic grows loud. It is the warmth you feel when the night grows long. You are not alone. You are with yourself. And that is enough. As you lie here, let compassion wrap around you like a soft blanket. Let it hold your emotions without spilling. Let it remind you that you are worthy of kindness. And as the breath deepens, you may begin to wonder, how do you stay present with emotion without getting lost in it? Next, you'll explore mindfulness in motion, how attention becomes your anchor and how presence becomes your guide. Chapter 8: Mindfulness in Motion, Feeling Without Getting Lost. The summary of this chapter. Mindfulness is not detachment. It is presence with clarity. It lets you feel without being swept away, observe without judgment, and return to the breath when the waves rise. Tonight, attention becomes your anchor. You lie here, quiet now, your breath moving like a tide against the shore of your chest. Emotions still visit. They haven't vanished. But tonight, you meet them differently. Not with resistance, not with fear, but with attention. This is mindfulness. Not a trick, not a technique, but a way of being. It is the art of staying present with what is, without needing to change it. You feel the flutter of anxiety, the ache of sadness, the hum of restlessness. You do not push them away. You do not chase them. You simply notice. This noticing is powerful. It activates the insula, a region of your brain that tracks internal sensation. It helps you feel without being overwhelmed. You begin to observe like a gentle scientist, curious, open, kind. You feel the tightness in your chest. You name it. You breathe into it. You feel the racing thoughts. You watch them pass like clouds across a quiet sky. You are not the clouds. You are the sky. This shift from identification to observation is the heart of mindfulness. You stop being the storm. You become the witness. Your breath becomes your anchor. It is always here, always steady, always yours. You inhale slowly. You feel the air expand your ribs. You exhale gently. You feel the tension melt. This breath is not just oxygen. It is presence. It brings you back from the past, from the future, into now. Now is where healing happens. You begin to notice how emotions rise and fall, like waves, like weather. They are not permanent. They are patterns. You feel anger rise. You breathe. You feel it soften. You feel sadness settle. You breathe. You feel it shift. This is regulation through attention. You are not suppressing. You are allowing. Your brain responds. The prefrontal cortex strengthens its connection to the limbic system. You gain clarity. You gain choice. You begin to trust that you can feel deeply without drowning. You begin to trust that you can stay present without losing yourself. Mindfulness is not detachment. It is intimacy with your own experience. You begin to notice the small things, the texture of your blanket, the sound of your breath, the warmth in your palms. These details are not distractions. They are anchors. They help you stay when the emotion feels big. You begin to move mindfully. Even small gestures become rituals, stretching your fingers, turning your head, adjusting your posture. Each movement is a return. You are not escaping. You are arriving. You begin to speak mindfully, to yourself, to others. You pause, you breathe, you choose your words with care. This care is compassion in motion. You begin to live mindfully, not perfectly, but intentionally. You notice when you rush, you slow down. You notice when you judge, you soften. You notice when you disconnect, you return. This returning is the practice, not once, but again and again. Each return rewires your brain. Each breath reshapes your response. You are not trying to be calm. You are learning to be present. And in that presence, calm often follows. You begin to trust that attention is enough. You do not need to fix the emotion. You only need to feel it with clarity. You do not need to control the moment. You only need to meet it with breath. Tonight, you rest in this truth. You are not lost. You are here. You are not drowning. You are anchored. You are not broken. You are aware. And as you lie here, held by your own attention, you may begin to wonder, if emotions live in the body, how does the body speak when words fall away? Next, you'll explore the body's language, how sensation becomes signal, and how movement and touch can help emotions release. Chapter 9. Mindfulness in Motion, Feeling Without Getting Lost. The summary of this chapter. Mindfulness is not detachment. It is presence with clarity. It lets you feel without being swept away, observe without judgment, and return to the breath when the waves rise. Tonight, attention becomes your anchor. You lie here, the weight of the day slowly dissolving. Your breath moves gently, like a tide brushing the edges of your ribs. Thoughts drift in, emotions stir. But tonight, you do not chase them. You stay. This is mindfulness. Not a technique to master, but a way of being. A quiet invitation to meet each moment as it is. You feel the pulse of emotion, a flicker of worry, a trace of sadness, a memory that still echoes. You do not resist. You do not analyze. You simply notice. This noticing is the beginning of clarity. Your brain responds. The insula, which tracks internal sensation, lights up. The prefrontal cortex gently engages, bringing regulation, bringing choice. You are not lost in the emotion. You are beside it, watching with warmth. Mindfulness is not detachment. It is intimacy without overwhelm. You begin to observe the texture of your experience, the way anxiety feels like buzzing, the way sadness feels like weight, the way joy feels like expansion. Each sensation is a signal. Each signal is a doorway. You walk through slowly, with breath as your guide. You inhale deeply, letting the air fill your belly. You exhale slowly, letting the tension melt. This breath is your anchor. It keeps you steady when the waves rise. You begin to notice the space between thoughts, the pause between inhale and exhale, the stillness beneath the noise. This space is where presence lives. You are not trying to empty your mind. You are learning to rest within it. You feel a surge of emotion. You name it. You breathe with it. You stay. This staying is the practice. Not once, but again and again. Each time you return to the breath, to the body, to the moment, you strengthen the pathways of calm. Neuroplasticity is at work. Your brain reshapes itself through repetition, through attention, through kindness. You begin to trust that you can feel deeply without being swept away. You begin to trust that you can stay present even when the moment is hard. Mindfulness is motion, not stillness. It moves with you through each breath, each step, each thought. You begin to move mindfully, stretching your fingers, adjusting your posture, noticing the sensation of fabric against skin. These small movements are rituals. They bring you back to now. You begin to speak mindfully, to yourself, to others. You pause, you breathe, you choose your words with care. This care is compassion in motion. You begin to live mindfully, not perfectly, but intentionally. You notice when you rush, you slow down. You notice when you judge, you soften. You notice when you disconnect, you return. This returning is the heart of the practice. You are not trying to be calm. You are learning to be present. And in that presence, calm often follows. You begin to trust that attention is enough. You do not need to fix the emotion. You only need to feel it with clarity. You do not need to control the moment. You only need to meet it with breath. Tonight, you rest in this truth. You are not lost. You are here. You are not drowning. You are anchored. You are not broken. You are aware. And as you lie here, held by your own attention, you may begin to wonder, if emotions live in the body, how does the body speak when words fall away? Next, you'll explore the body's language, how sensation becomes signal, and how movement and touch can help emotions release. Chapter 10. Reframing the story, changing how you see what you feel. The summary of this chapter. The way you name your emotions shapes how you experience them. Words become windows or walls. You'll learn how to reframe your inner dialogue and how language can soften even the sharpest feelings. You lie here, your breath slow, your body quiet, your mind gently unfolding. Emotions still move through you, not as storms now, but as waves. You've learned to feel them, to stay with them, to breathe through them. Tonight, you explore something subtler, not the emotion itself, but the story you tell about it. Because how you name a feeling shapes how it lives in you. Language is not just description. It is interpretation. It is meaning. It is the lens through which you see yourself. You feel a tightness in your chest. You call it anxiety, and suddenly it becomes a problem to fix. But what if you called it anticipation, or alertness, or care? The sensation is the same, but the story changes, and with it, your response. This is reframing, not denial, not sugarcoating, but choosing words that reflect truth without adding harm. Your brain listens to language. When you say, "I'm overwhelmed," it prepares for shutdown. When you say, "I'm stretched, but capable," it begins to regulate. This is not magic. It is neurobiology. The words you use activate different neural pathways. They shape your perception, your emotion, your behavior. You begin to notice your inner dialogue, the quiet voice that narrates your day, the one that says, "I messed up. I'm not enough. I should be better." You do not silence it. You meet it. You say, "I hear you. But let's look again." You begin to reframe. "I messed up" becomes, "I learned something." "I'm not enough" becomes, "I'm growing." "I should be better" becomes, "I'm doing the best I can." These shifts are small, but they change the emotional landscape. You feel less shame, less fear, more space. You begin to trust that your words can be tools of healing. You practice this gently. You feel sadness. You say, "This is grief." It means I loved. You feel anger. You say, "This is protection." It means something matters. You feel anxiety. You say, "This is care." It means I want to do well. Each reframe honors the emotion without amplifying the pain. You are not erasing the feeling. You are softening its edges. You begin to notice how others shape your story too. A harsh word can become a wound. A kind phrase can become a balm. You choose your words with care, to yourself, to others. You speak gently. You listen deeply. This gentleness is not weakness. It is precision. It allows you to name what's true without adding harm. You begin to write your own story, not the one handed to you by fear, by habit, by history, but the one shaped by awareness, by compassion, by choice. You say, I am not broken. I am unfolding. You say, I am not behind. I am on my way. You say, I am not too much. I am learning to hold myself. These words become your rhythm. They guide your breath. They shape your thoughts. They soften your body. You begin to trust that language can heal. You begin to trust that you can choose how you speak to yourself. Tonight, you rest in this truth. You are not your worst thought. You are not your harshest word. You are the one who gets to choose again. And as you lie here, held by your own kindness, you may begin to wonder, if words shape emotion, how does emotion shape the body? Next, you'll explore the body's language, how sensation becomes signal, and how movement and touch can help emotions release. Chapter 11. Emotional Integration, Letting Feelings Flow Through, Not Overwhelm. The summary of this chapter. Integration means allowing emotions to move, not trap or define you. You'll explore how to let feelings pass, like weather through the sky, and how to return to calm without force. You lie here, soft beneath the weight of the night, your breath slow, your body still, your mind gently open. Emotions still visit. They come and go, like clouds drifting across a quiet sky. You've learned to name them, to feel them, to hold them with kindness. Now, you begin to learn how to let them move. This is integration, not control, not suppression, but flow. Emotional integration means allowing feelings to pass through you without becoming stuck, without becoming your identity. You are not your sadness. You are not your anger. You are not your fear. You are the space in which they rise, move, and dissolve. Your nervous system is designed to process emotion in waves. Each wave has a beginning, a crest, a fall. When you resist the wave, it crashes harder. When you chase it, it pulls you under. But when you allow it, it moves through and leaves you clearer. You begin to notice how emotions live in your body, grief in your chest, anxiety in your belly, shame in your throat. These sensations are not permanent. They are signals asking to be felt. You breathe into them. You say, I see you. You are welcome. This welcome is the beginning of release. Your body responds. The vagus nerve activates. Your heart rate slows. Your breath deepens. You are not forcing calm. You are allowing it to return. Integration is not about fixing. It is about witnessing. You feel the emotion rise. You stay with it. You let it crest. You let it fall. You do not rush. You do not resist. You remain. This remaining is the practice. Your brain begins to rewire. The pathways of regulation grow stronger. The patterns of reactivity begin to fade. You are not avoiding emotion. You are learning to move with it. You begin to notice the rhythm of your feelings, how sadness slows you, how anger energizes you, how joy expands you. Each emotion has a purpose. Each one has a message. You listen. You learn. You let go. You begin to trust that emotions are temporary, that they do not define you, that they do not control you. You begin to trust that you can feel deeply and still return to calm. This trust is the foundation of integration. You are no longer afraid of what you feel. You are no longer trapped by what you feel. You are the sky, not the storm. You begin to create rituals that support this flow. A walk in silence, a warm bath, a journal entry written without judgment. These rituals are containers. They help emotion move without spilling. You begin to speak differently. I'm feeling overwhelmed becomes I'm noticing a lot of energy in my body. I'm falling apart becomes, I'm in a moment of transition. These reframes support integration. They help you stay present without being consumed. You begin to live differently. You pause before reacting. You breathe before responding. You ask, what is this feeling asking of me? Sometimes it asks for rest, sometimes for movement, sometimes for silence. You listen, you respond, you release. You begin to trust that you can hold emotion without holding on to it. You begin to trust that you can return to calm without forcing it. This return is gentle. It is the body's natural rhythm when given space. You lie here, your breath steady, your body soft. You feel the last emotion of the day begin to fade. Not because you pushed it away, but because you let it move. You are not empty. You are clear. You are not numb. You are open. You are not broken. You are whole. And as you rest in this truth, you may begin to wonder, how do you carry this clarity into the days ahead? Next, in last chapter, you'll gather gentle tools for the journey, simple practices, daily rituals, and quiet reminders to help you stay close to the healing you've begun. Chapter 12. The Soft Goodbye. Carrying these tools into tomorrow. The summary of this chapter. You've walked through the landscape of emotion with curiosity and care. Now, you gather what you've learned and carry it gently into your waking life. A quiet revolution of self-understanding, woven breath by breath. You lie here, in the hush of night, your breath steady, your body softened by all that you've felt. You've walked through sadness, anger, anxiety, and the quiet strength of compassion. You've learned to stay, to breathe, to listen. Now, you begin to gather. Not in haste, but in reverence. You gather the tools that helped you feel without fear. You gather the breath that steadied you when the waves rose. You gather the words that softened your inner voice. You gather the rituals that anchored you in presence. These tools are not heavy. They are light enough to carry in your pocket, in your palm, in your breath. They are not rules. They are reminders. You do not need to be perfect. You only need to return. Return to the breath. Return to the body. Return to the moment. This returning is the practice. You begin to trust that healing is not a destination. It is a rhythm, a way of walking, a way of being. You begin to live differently. You pause before reacting. You breathe before responding. You ask, what do I need right now? You begin to speak gently, to yourself, to others. You begin to set boundaries with clarity, not fear. You begin to rest without guilt. You begin to feel without shame. This is the quiet revolution. It does not shout. It does not rush. It moves slowly, like light across water. You begin to notice the small things, the warmth of sunlight on your skin, the sound of your breath in the morning, the way your body asks for care. You begin to listen to your own rhythm. Some days will feel heavy. Some moments will feel sharp. But you are no longer afraid of what you feel. You are no longer lost in the storm. You are the sky that holds it all. You begin to trust that you can return to calm without force. You begin to trust that you can hold emotion without holding on to it. You begin to trust yourself. This trust is the foundation of everything. You lie here, not empty, but full. Full of breath, full of knowing, full of quiet strength. You've walked through the landscape of emotion with curiosity, with care, with courage. And now you carry it forward, not as burden, but as wisdom. You carry it into your waking life, into your relationships, into your choices. You carry it into tomorrow, and tomorrow will carry you. As you rest now, let this be your lullaby. You are safe. You are healing. You are enough. Let your breath be your compass. Let your kindness be your guide. Let your presence be your home. And as the night deepens, as your body drifts into sleep, know this: you are not alone. You are held by everything you've learned. Thank you for walking this journey, for listening, for feeling, for staying. This is not the end. It is a soft goodbye until next time. Good night, dear heart. We'll meet again in the quiet spaces where healing begins.